realized why Luke is Luke, what the essence of Lukehood is. Do you want to hear it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Luke is comfortable with the uncomfortable. He's willing to discuss uncomfortable topics and not shirk from them. And what does Luke talk about? Everything, it's everything we like to bury, racism, sexism, pornography, sex, Judaism, anti-Semitism. It's all these things we don't want to talk about. And you're right there in the thick of it.
There are times where my life has been, say, more successful or more connected, where I have tamped down that desire to maintain my social standing.
But you keep being drawn back into the fire.
There are times where it's inappropriate to bring out the uncomfortable, and there are times I don't want to talk about the uncomfortable. So it's not so much disguise. I think it's more about knowing the time and place, right? It's much more appropriate for me to do it on a live stream than to intrude it into a conversation where it's not wanted.
That's why you stream, because it's like you need that outlet because it's just so much part of your identity. And this is your art form, and you need to express it. This was the weekend where Joe makes the decision to step aside, and then suddenly he starts talking about Biden digging his heels in and maybe not dropping out. And so this is a cliffhanger, kind of a nail biter. And Nancy Pelosi has to basically ramp up the heat on Joe Biden until he finally screams uncle and drops out.
Nancy Pelosi is going to keep upping the pain on Joe Biden until he drops out. And every day is going to bring more pain until perhaps eventually you'll get a movement for the 25th Amendment where a majority of the cabinet declares him unfit.
And that's how the real world works, right? Nancy Pelosi is friends with Joe Biden until he becomes inconvenient for her.
When you contrast Joe Biden's cognitive decline and the denial about it with Trump's triumphal fist-raising defiance of death this weekend in Pennsylvania, you have the perfect symbolic embodiment of conservatives' belief that a decadent liberalism is sapping the vitality of the country, with Trump carrying the flame of that endangered vitality.
A member of local law enforcement had also engaged the shooter, seeming to mean that this local marksman had fired a shot. So with that, here once again is former SWAT team member Chad Ayers talking about this concept of, was Crooks acting alone?
Yeah, I can understand where people are coming from on this, but obviously the audio acoustics, it can do strange things. We've all been in baseball stadiums when fireworks go off, or obviously I've been involved in deadly force encounters and shootings multiple times in my career. The echo, the ricochet. Now, keep in mind a lot of what we are hearing as outsiders. There's microphones involved all over that stage, so we're hearing different delays and things like that. As I have watched this video, I mean, Jesse, it seems like 1,000 times by now. Yes, I feel like it's consistent with the initial fire from the shooter, taking his rounds, followed by the counter sniper team's rifles. And then likely that last one they are hearing is the locals counter sniper taking that shot. The DA's reported that gentleman's been placed on leave.